Hey there, welcome to the barn. Today, instead of doing something fun like working on a square body or a motorcycle, I get to deal with something else. Mother Nature threw us a curveball. It's April 1st. We got a big old snowstorm, some heavy wet snow. We have some friends without power, so I'm going to do what I can to get an old generator fired up for them. So I'll take you along for the ride of how I do small engine once-overs, I guess we'll say. As you can tell, this baby's kept in tip-top shape. Nah, it hasn't been used in like 8 or 10 years. So, come on, let's go do something, even if it's wrong. Alright, so I think what I should do is start with the fuel test. I usually use non-oxygenated fuel in all my small engine stuff. Oh, I might actually have drained it. Bone dry. Alright, that's a good start. I should probably crawl around on my hands and knees, undo the carb, and see what kind of goodness we got in there. Yeah, it looks a little bit on the varnishy side. All right, so I think I said earlier that I use non-oxygenated gas. I don't know if everywhere has this, but we got some gas stations up here that have that. It's ethanol free, and it's made for small engines or older cars or motorcycles and things of that nature. So I tend to use that just because of the ethanol free portion. Not that it's non-oxygenated, just if there's anything else I had ethanol free, I would utilize that. Ethanol is the killer for these items that just sit around and don't get used. So I've bought and repaired many things that have clogged up carburetors, and give it either carb cleaning or a carb kit, and they come back to life. So there's my rant. Put a little bit of fuel in here and see what happens. Fuel is... oh, now it's shut off. Alright, now I'm going to take the bowl off the carburetor. This is just a vent tube for the... actually, I don't know what exactly it's for, but... oh, look at there. It has... you see that? It has a little stopper, a bleeder, so you can drain the fuel that's in the bowl. So what I'm going to do... I think I have a container I'll put underneath it. Turn the fuel on and see what we catch. Oh, that vent line is key racked. Alright, so I got the fuel on. I'm just going to push up on the spring-loaded deal and see what comes out of it. Catch most of it. Can't tell if that schmutz was in the cup or if it was in the carburetor. Should have wiped it out first and cleaned it out just to make sure. Alright, that seems to be flowing good. I don't see any water in there. That's a good start. Alright, before we go any farther, I'm going to check the lifeblood of all small engines, which is the oil. I can't remember if this has a dipstick or just a fill plug. Well, it has a dipstick. In the operating range, maybe just a wiggle low. Yeah, once you screw that in, that'll be fine. So, good enough to give her a start. I'm gonna give this thing a couple pulls just to see what it feels like. It is on. Fuel is on. Not coming out anywhere. I got the choke on. Let's give her a couple pulls, see what happens. Well, that started way better than I thought it would. But as you can tell, it needed the choke on, and it was kind of surging, which I think this era of carburetor is kind of goofy. It's not adjustable, which I'm not a huge fan of, but they're very finicky about being clean. So I think what I'm going to do, I got the gas turned off. I'm going to pull the carb off and give it a once over and show you how I go about it. All right, so to remove this carb, I'm going to remove this bolt. There's one on the backside. It's kind of hard to see. Take the fuel line off the backside and then get the linkage off of here. And I think that should be free and ready to come off and take apart on the bench. All right, got the carb on the bench. Let's take off this nut on the bottom of the float bowl. She looks a little grimy. So in this is actually a jet, so fuel needs to come in. Now, that little hole in the bottom base. And there's actually a little one at the top of the threads, and that one is the important one. That's the one, if I can remember right, kind of makes it surge. So yeah, it does look like there's some schmutz in there, so nothing to be shocked there, or nothing that's shocking to me. Ooh. You know what? I wonder if I'd put stable in there. That fuel stabilizer kind of seems to do that. Otherwise the needle's moving. And it started on the second pull, so I can't really complain too much. I'm gonna pull this gasket out of here, because as soon as you hit that with some carb cleaner, it expands and gets nasty. I'm gonna pull this pin out of here. If I have, here, let me just get the world's smallest set of needle nose. Remove that. Oh, that needle looks super clean, actually. Needle goes down into the seat, which is where my pinky's pointed, and that actually looks really nice and clean too. I think I might be in pretty fortunate shape. I'm not going to take out, there's a Welch plug and there's some stuff underneath there. Some stuff, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to leave that. I might pull this one out, because I think this orifice or something that I should clean out a little bit as well. Schmutz in there. Alright, I think that's about as far as I'm going to take it apart. Got some carbon choke cleaner. Make sure you have your safety glasses on, you know, just like I do. This is just carbon choke cleaner. That works really good at dissolving this foreign material, I'll call it. I don't know what it is. Alright, let's give this the once over. Blast out those ports. Is that open on the end, or supposed to be? I'm going to have to get a magnifying glass. Let's let that soak in there. Make sure you do this in a well-ventilated area. Alright, so here's what I did for this little... Hang on, where's my pointer? So I got there's holes down here. Turn around. Another one there. There's a little one. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. At the top of the thread's real small. What I did is I took took this wire wheel and I just bent one of the bristles out, straightened out a little bit, and put it in and out of that teeny tiny orifice. And kind of just cleaned her out. I'm not really sure. I think I got it pretty much cleaned out with the carb spray, but I just wanted to make sure as long as I was monkeying around in here. I'd like to open that up, but I don't have any drill bits or anything that small. I've heard that that does a good job of getting the surge out of it as it's idling. Alright, so I did the same thing with the wire bristle on this little jet. Poked it in all the orifices. Orifi? That's not a word. I'll be darned. What's it say on the bottom there? Can you read that? I don't know. Can you read that? Made in the USA. Huh. I like it. You don't see it all that often anymore. That should be good. I got all the barnacles and stuff out of it. The rest of it seems to be staining, which I'm more about, how do I say this? Operation than visualization. I'd rather be functional. What is first? Let's throw this little guy in there. My gloves are in poor shape there. Tighten it up, not reefing it down. Let's put the needle back on here. By the way, this is not a how-to. People way smarter and way better than me have way better videos than I can put out. Well, they're just smarter, they have more knowledge. This is just what a knucklehead does, trying to make sure their friend can get power. Where's the, yep. You want to put that deeper part of the bowl where the hinge is for the float. Ask me how I found that out. Trial and error. More error than trials. Okay, feels good. All right, let's put it back on the old machine and see what happens. I like that these got screwdrivers and that you can actually get to it. A lot of times you can't. You can only get like a quarter turn per turn of the screwdriver. Boy, that's about the easiest carb to take on and off. Turn the gas on. Wait a couple seconds, see if it drips out anywhere. So far so good. Let's try this routine. No fuel. Okay. No wonder it's not leaking. Alright, let's take this bowl off. Did I do that backwards? Ouch. Tighten it up too much? Oh, for heavens to Betsy. Bone dry. I did put that bowl on there backwards. Didn't I? I sure did. I sure did. The shallow side's got to be on the hinge side. I put that on there goofy. You guys are probably laughing at me when I was over there at the bench thinking I was doing it correctly. I kind of thought it was weird because the vent or the push button was on the wrong side. It was different than what it was earlier. I'm confident it'll work. Put that on. All right, let's turn on my fuel this time. Back in action. All right, let's try this again. You'll see. I think I got the fuel on. Let's check it. Fuel is on. Got the choke on. Power on. No priming or nothing. Give her a pull or two and see what happens. Now let's check the power output. All right, so here's the update. Now that I got the generator up to par, our friend's power came back on, so they can thank me. That's just how it goes. When you get stuff prepared, you're generally in good shape that you don't need it. But I did spend a little bit of time sharpening up some chainsaws and getting going because we had a bunch of trees and stuff down in the area, so I did my due diligence, did what I had to do, get that stuff squared away. Now I am draining the bar oil out of the saws because I don't know when the next time is that I'm going to use them, and I cannot stand picking up my saw and having it being in a puddle of bar oil that just seeps out. Seems like no matter what you do, that's kind of what happens. Doesn't matter the brand of the saw, that's what happens. So that's a little tip that I like to do. Keeps my shelf clean. All right, so I don't have a box of soap to stand on, but I just kind of want to take a second. My wife likes to follow some of these neighborhood groups online. She likes to keep her finger on the pulse of what's going on in the neighborhood, and listen to people complain about certain things like who do we call to get the coyotes removed from the neighborhood. Just so you know, the coyotes were there first. What else do they complain about? Potholes or snow plowing, or maybe the mailman's late. But the one I saw today was, does homeowner insurance cover spoiled food when we have a power outage? And I don't know, it just got my wheels turning, just got me thinking. I feel like people need to have a little pride or self-reliance. I'm not saying you need to go on to full-on prepper mode or anything like that, but they don't have to have 3 or 4 generators around like I do. But I'm kind of prepared in a way that if we have a power outage, because I'm on a well, I got about 20 gallons of water in the basement. My family's not going to have to figure out a way how to flush the toilet. We have water. A lot of people probably don't know that you can pour water in the toilet to get it to flush. Most of the population nowadays still have running water when the power goes out. I am unfortunately not that lucky being on my own well and septic. I take pride and see it as a little bit of a challenge being as independent as I can, not needing to rely on other people or systems to keep the world turning. Most of these people in the subdevelopments around me probably don't realize that their fancy, snazzy gas fireplace that they have in the wall can run off of AA batteries. A lot of people don't realize that. They can have heat. I'm not that fortunate. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it, whether it's wood or a generator or other means. I guess what I'm saying is if you're fortunate enough to have a couple extra bucks in your pocket, scour Craigslist or Marketplace and find a generator that somebody set on a shelf for a few years and clean out the carburetor, do some normal maintenance in an afternoon, and you'll have yourself a good working generator that'll be ready to go the next time Mother Nature tries to throw a wrench in your cog. It's the little things in life. Take pride and be confident and do it for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. So needless to say, this weekend didn't go exactly how I had planned in my free time, but that's all right. That's the world we live in, and we'll get everything squared away and taken care of. And next time I have some free time, maybe I'll be able to do what I want to do. Till next time, I'll say thanks for watching.